everybody, it's me, Laura, and I'm back today with a polymer clay project, a little picture piece. And we're going to start off here with a lot of little just extra. I had a lot of Natasha's and a lot of old scrap clay, and I thought, okay, we got to use this up, right? So I took a lot of this and I just started wadding it up in my hand. And it doesn't matter what kind of clay you use. It could be any kind of, when I talk scrap clay or mud clay, it's all the same thing. So I'm going to just take up all of this. I know some of you are going to be like, what? She's going to destroy all of that. I figure, what the heck, why not, right? You got to destroy to get something good, right? Lemons out of lemonade. I mean, one way or the other, I'll get there, right? Anyways, I'm bringing in some of this clay and I'm just going to mash it all up together. I'm going to then cut it apart and then eventually it will turn into a mud color. Now I'm going to start bringing in my board here, and this thing is 5 inches wide, if you will, and 3 1/4 inches tall. I'm bringing in this mud clay. It's been rolled out on a number 4 setting on my Atlas pasta machine. I'll bring in my blade and I'll trim up the sides, and this will be my base piece of clay. Now, here's the thing. I forgot to mention at the very beginning here, I'm going to be placing all the tools and materials that I use in all of my videos from here on out in the description area. So if you're wondering, what I used, go check there to see what I actually used in the video. I'm not going to be placing it at the front of my videos anymore. I just figure this way then if something changes, I'll be able to let you know there in the description area. Anyway, as I'm trimming this up, I'm going to bring in another sheet of that mud clay, again rolled out on that number 4 setting. I'll place it over this and trim it up to that board once more. Okay, now for the fun part, baby. Oh yeah. Yes, we're going to start sculpting up our little fairy town, if you will, with our little hearts and stuff. And I just took a ball of this mud clay. I want to say it was about, half an inch in diameter. A lot of this, when I'm doing the sculpting, whatever comes about, comes about. Go with your feelings a little bit. You don't necessarily, what I sculpt here, yes, I did my piece, but maybe you want to change it up. Maybe you want to add something in that I don't show here. Do it. Absolutely do it. I figure become your own artist. You don't have to always, follow what I'm doing on these videos. And I really love it when people find their own creative way of interpreting it and creating their own expression in the clay. Anyway, as you can tell here, I did have a little bit of bubbly kind of a thing coming up on this. Go in with your needle tool and then pop out any of the bubbles that you might have captured, any air pockets you might have captured between the 2 pieces of clay. If you need to, come in with a burnisher or even a knitting needle to go ahead and score the background a little bit. Now, when you score that background though, if you're popping the bubbles, don't put a ton of pressure on it, because this way then the 2 pieces of clay that are laying on top of each other, if they're meshed together too much, there is a chance for more cracking to happen in the clay after it's baked. Whereas if it's just a light layer on top, it will probably not do that cracking bit, if you will, and you'll have a nice picture piece in the end. Anyway, I'm going along here, I'm creating my little mushrooms. Again, I start with the ball, create that teardrop, kind of push in and out where I got that nice little pointed cap, if you will. It almost looks like a little witch's cap or something. Wrong season. And then of course, I made another little teardrop, which created the stump, which is also one of my little, a basis for a little fairy house. I'm going to create a couple more of these little mushrooms, as well as a couple of my little hearts. I'll place them all with stems and so on. You'll see that. I'll roll out my clay. When it comes to the flattened pieces of clay, I usually flatten them out on a 4 setting on my Atlas pasta machine, and that will also include any kind of stems I create that would go up like to my little heart flowers in this picture piece, any grass areas or whatever. So from here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to let you guys watch my hands talk as I create this little sculptural fairy town. All right, so at this point, this entire piece has been completely baked through. And I'm taking my wire here, and that wire was 22 gauge. Well, actually, it was actually 26 gauge silver wire that I used, and I'm trying to pull as much of it out as possible. I like to bake it in so it gives itself a nice indent into where I want to replace it back in later. But once I get this wire out, I'm going to start painting up the entire background or the entire thing in black matte acrylic paint. Now, once I get that painted, I'm going to bring in my other Folkart metallic acrylic paints, such as it's a peacock pearl and an ice blue, and I mixed them half and half together for the sky because the one color seemed way too dark. And I thought, ooh, I don't want it too dark, okay? So I mix it up and I put that for my sky. And then I also have my aquamarine, my amethyst, my sparkling fuchsia, my bright red, my rose shimmer, my garnet red, Christmas green, green silk, golden touch, rose gold, and eventually my white Posca 0.7 millimeter pen. I mean, you guys knew I was going to do that, right? If you didn't know by now, you should have just automatically planned for that, right? So anyways, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to let you guys watch my paintbrush this time talk as I paint up the entire scene here on my little fairy town. Okay, so now for my slight change. I had this nice thing, all it was all painted up wonderful, right? I had all my metallics going on. The only problem here was that this blue, this background dark blue that I kind of had, it seemed like it competed with the rest of the scene. And it really wasn't working for me. I mean, if you like it this way, keep it that way. But if you don't, you might want to try an option like what I'm going to do. So what I did was I came in with another brand. It was an apple barrel. It's called Blue Bonnet, and it's just a very light blue. And you could find any kind of light blue acrylic paint, and it will work. But I'm bringing in this light blue, and I thought, you know what? We're going to do it. I mean, sometimes you can overdo a project, but in this case, it was like, I want the rest of it to really pop, okay? Polymer clay is, it's a game of contrast, as I always say. And even though this is all painted up, it's still a game of contrast, even with your acrylic paints, because you don't want your main subject area to be competing with the background. You want that background to be a background and not the focus of everything. It's kind of like creating a picture piece or a picture, a drawing or whatever, framing it up and the frame getting more attention than the actual picture. Not exactly a good thing. So to me, I thought, let's go ahead, let's brighten this up, make it a little bit more, I don't know, maybe it's a little more cartoony to you, but to me, I just thought I have to have a lighter sky. I can't do this. It's just too dark. Anyway, so I came in with my light blue and I did up the whole thing, and I really liked it so much better. Now, once I finished up that background, I also then decided, this fairy town, it's very cute, and you could keep it just like this. However, I wanted my son to have a little bit more personality, so I did come in and create a couple of eyes on my son along with a little happy face and made it a little bit more just kind of, yay, I'm here, kind of a thing. I know that makes absolutely no sense, but hey, who does anymore? So from here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to let you guys just watch my hands talk for the last time as I complete up my little fairy town in polymer clay. All right, so this is the end result of creating my little fairy town in polymer clay. Please use this for study and reference. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I'm always wondering what you're thinking. Otherwise, I am sending out my biggest hugs to each of you, and I hope you have a fantastic day.